You're live. Okay, great. Okay, thanks for your patience, everyone. Okay, we've started the event. Arriving, hey Ray, over the next 45 minutes while we chat and snack. At 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, we will start with musical performances and speeches. Yeah, I guess I thought you were bringing your dad, but that's fine. Here, I'm just gonna. This is the best place to put this. Okay, we got the live stream going, so. That's good. I'll be in the episode. All right, so there is a chat function. So if you are tuning in live from wherever you are, feel free to drop us a message. I guess we've already heard from Ray, so that's awesome. All right, so again, it's 2:17 now. 3 o'clock is when we're going to start the speeches. All right, stand by. Michele is right here. You remember?
Yeah, I have too much time, so I guess I feel like I'm trying to plot the purpose of the next stage of my life and be mindful that, this is the time where what is it you want to do, what legacy do you want to leave, what do you want to kind of make your life's work. Like what that we often kind of why and why for 17 years when I left there, she also wasn't really with me just to tell me what I wrote to them, and saying, claiming that I saved their life or things like this, which I don't know about that, but it was super neat. And then something Hamilton is great, but I feel less like that I'm looking to be people's family. I'm looking to try to hone in on the oncology here. And then maybe there's a lot of people stepping in, and there's a lot of me from here that everybody needs doctors, and I really feel so grateful for having pursued this. My parents are just doing it, and I feel grateful because it is such but I just feel to be at the same maybe you did. Yeah. Yeah, we are. Yeah. So, but it's all really it's all very useful. But I think that as I and then there's elements and stuff that is unique to it. Like, it's fun being alone, right? It's so strong and then like this is enough, you know. Kind of like coming like but I also think there's certain things like I'm a little bit better with like conversations maybe like so I'm kind of like, well, I got into this training So that's exciting because that's kind of where I want to go with my. And then there's other summer down here. The next 2 years, and then that allowed me to figure out because I can make one time my friend and I tried to and just something really trying to figure out how to get out of some rotation. How many accents are there once? One day, we tried to just make like we made like circles but they didn't even know this reaction to see if I'm not really making I just said word outside but soft it's a little very and I found this like but it's sealed. And then we're gonna bury ready to go. We're gonna do a mass tomorrow. Okay, have coffee, have snacks. It's been so long.
Yeah, he's older than me. Yeah. And then Phoenix, like, he used to slide down the stairs. And it's like you turn it around and slide down. And now he's 11. Soon be 12.
Like research.
Yeah.
As I get older.
Yeah, it's kind of a random project. It's like an algorithm that makes. Should we do like
I don't know. It is as it is. Surrender.
What about you?
We had a slideshow.
What? Do what? Something funny. You know the
You started playing classical music, or is it? Yeah. Okay, let me know. Oh yeah. I'm still working. Talking in. Yeah, I mean, well, it is what it is. Well, some people might. I only see Ray. Let's just see. I see there's 7 people watching. Hey, if you're watching from far away, just drop a line in the chat and let us know. We're just, again, mingling a little, but in 30 minutes we'll start speeches. Okay. You can see here, let's just show. Got a bunch of Indian snacks. And then here's Christina, and we're got various hors d'oeuvres here. Would you want to take the laptop around and just help our audience interact? You're going to pass that. The show here is the urn with Mom's ashes, and we've got her picture there. Some nice flowers. Oh yeah, there's from Ray. Hi, Christina. Yes, that's Christina, Vijay, Shannon. Hi. Let's see, what's the best way to do this?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like it was close to the time.
Curiosity for knowledge.
You see, because I was interested in knowing every other day.
What's going on?
But like, yeah, somehow I haven't been doctored, so that's nice. But yeah,
I know it's used still.
yeah, but there's more safety. You know, no, I'm doing remote.
And then places like jazz were just sort of burned to the ground.
Last summer I was
Brad was actually traveling up there. They traveled, and he went to jazz for a couple days, left, 2 days later, burned to the ground. So, a transfer. Yeah, almost shocked.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll love to watch wildfires.
Yeah, it's weird.
We're just gonna keep seeing more of them.
Together every day and then never again. On campus, yeah. But I mean, like, pretty much, they're like my year in my high school.
Yeah.
And a couple of others. Apart from that, I don't see it. But
Yeah.
And I feel like that's happened a couple years in a row. Between last year and the other year. Yeah, it's chaos. One of our experts in the US.
I would say most of the people I went to high school
Yes,
with
yeah.
don't really
Well, we take pollution from here.
Oh, there's a show. Great. Do we have people at Clare Hills that are on the stream? We're going to start the speeches in like 30 minutes. But I know we got a little bit delayed getting started. Yeah, okay.
That's got a long time. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think there's still one country that some little place. All I know is the guy who invented that additive, he's credited as killing more people than anybody else in Right? And he kind of knew the issues too. Like when they were doing the road trip to Cell, he couldn't go because he was suffering from lead poisoning. Good people, reasonable. So she was living in Toronto. She was living in yeah, he's living in the facility. He was working for Snowflake, which is a big online database company. He's now working for Salesforce.
I don't think that was
So he's fun. Good thing. I don't know. He tells us almost nothing. He's just communicative as a friend. I call it learn more from practice. And I wish I was overestimating it. It's, he is truly Truly not global. Brenda lives in Kitchener with her partner. So we got my teacher at KCI. She's been working at pineapple places, selling classes, and North Money is their office person. So they're happy. They're doing. She's rock climbing now. She's kind of like
More time.
kind of weird. So they're 25.
Isn't that how it goes these days?
They're 27. And then the youngest is 8. As I said, you gotta stop feeding them. I did, they left. And then Emily is doing better. When was the last time we chatted about Emily? Did you read nothing between the lines? Yes. So in the fall, her boyfriend of 3 years jumped her, which she suddenly realized that it wasn't her. So she reconnected with friends and applied to get back to the university, and is now back for so this is term 2 right now. Term 1 right now. So yeah, so with 4 years of work she's been doing to get healthier, we're now starting to see the results of. So this is really good for parents. She is much happier. Yeah, so I'd say she's halfway back. Parents like, this is great. I'm like, no. It looks like a whole lot of change. Just don't expect the same pace of change. I think we're going to 4 years. Yeah. Okay, so we don't know how far she'll go. All I know is right now she looks unbelievable, and they're offering us something else. Okay.
Yeah, it is a little late.
I didn't get all the ones that you read. So we'll read it out.
Is there that?
Yeah. The green.
Yeah, there's kind of fatigue about my LGS aspect to it. There's a
Right now.
One point should say, if I'm just standing here,
Mhm.
like this leg is on floating. That's how she feels. So it makes it hard so she won't bite. Yeah. I think it migrated into her head. Regardless of where it starts. So she would talk with her. I was holding on to somebody for a year or two, and then without somebody with her. And now she's walking. She didn't start the term last term this way, but she's now this term. She walked 2 to 3 So that is, and she's starting to drive. Grand scheme of things, it feels huge. So chaos. And then Karen's working camp. So she's up there right now doing breathing. This has been good the last 2 years. It's her out of the house, so she's it's like, why are you getting you talking to the doctor? You're not handling this well. Yeah, she was the doctor person for the first 2 weeks. And then we realized this was bad and we switched. She had enough trouble with the fact that we didn't well. I was allowed to go or here, nothing. Yeah, so even if one of them is not he seems happy, he gets paid well, he was willing to, dump a job after a year going for yeah. Well, he switched 2 months ago. Like, this is recent. He was home last weekend, the weekend before. Yeah, he was home. The family birthday was 2 weeks. So, My dad got married at Christmas. Before Christmas. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so I like married. 8 months later, fast. Feels fast. We're dealing with repercussions fast. Or vice versa. She's 10 years younger.
It didn't seem like a problem.
There's a number of interesting aspects. So I've had more drama in the last 4 months than I have in Let's call it high school. Having said that, I'm pretty quiet. It's still not ridiculous. It's just kind of silly. Brenda works for a administrator, so she's a retired nurse. She used to do bonds here and stuff. And she described her as heart of gold. The rings to cake. We'll do Christmas here. I said we normally. She hasn't been through one of everything, right? And she's still the first time. So Christmas we have Brenda's partner's parents over for Christmas. Sort of one big happy family thing. We asked everybody, what do you bring? We'll share it. What do you want to bring? Let's organize this on email. So then Diane said, oh, we can do this year. Cool. Friday emailed everybody saying, hey, we're doing Christmas this year. And Diane says, something which one to bring. Diane fired back an email. I'm bringing this. My daughter's bringing this. My son's bringing this. I'll let you all know what you can do. It's been a while.
I have a nice room next year.
Politically,
And I was going to
hey,
say,
Diane,
like,
I'm people volunteered. Ben's mom emailed me back. Very nicely done. Diane emailed us back. It's canceled.
Yeah, it's a mountain.
Didn't spend
For those. They're like, yeah, farmers. Yeah. The only thing is like politically. There's a lot going on. Well, it's kind of like, if you're a student, it's like, the administration isn't exactly on your side, but
It did put back
are
on.
also getting
It didn't
taxed.
happen.
So,
Just like,
yeah.
it's just silly.
Yeah, it's like
Nobody burns stuff
there are
above
multiple
now.
party actions, and some have much more power than the others. And like the funding starting to there's like a they usually put up for orientation.
Right,
I was in a meeting basically the bureaucrats who deal with student organizations, and they're like, yeah, we're not paying for that this year because they don't have.
The quickness of like, no, I never made this joke to people. It's like,
we're like an education school.
Yeah. I mean, like, all the classes,
And then meet us.
yeah, I have
you're
learned
still like,
that my dad is a social.
well,
Because I can see a whole,
my
I can see a whole bunch of things he
class might not exist.
visibly aware of, but it didn't do with stuff. We can see how she was introducing after her. That never happened on our side. Right? So after the wedding,
I don't know, I feel like
a whole bunch of dads
I
got
get
together.
involved in Palestine work
They never met her, they've seen her.
a little bit.
And that includes just being outside.
Schooling, that's kind of more.
Yeah, well, it's basically because there's a lot of these, like, yeah.
High school.
Anyway.
Yeah, because like one of the initial things that the government wanted was like international students to have been involved in the tests so that they could.
We're gonna get through all these tedious periods eventually. Who knows if things are like her? What's it
How can
prove
you
that
do
over time,
that
but that's
data?
not the
But
case.
they didn't actually.
My dad
It
was
was
the one who told
unsatisfactory.
everybody about
This is
each
like the pretext.
So we realized that everything we know
Am I
about it, we learned from my
summarizing
dad.
well?
And vice versa. It's like, no one's asking these questions. So I'm actually gonna propose literally soon. Pretend we've never met before. Ask each other questions. I'd like to hear her story from her.
Yeah.
Because also my dad told me all sorts of unfortunate things. I heard all the rough stuff. So she's never had a relationship. Right, so quasi divorce, running away, another child of wedlock, it's just always chaos. And you assume, yes, but now, but there's a few things that make some sense, and then she brought up the family. Different from how we were.
Yeah, well,
The last one of
So we'll see how things go. And unfortunately, we're busy. So we haven't had a ton of time to put them over. And I'm gonna have to ask that.
Yeah.
You know, it's still see it. You might never play that one. Who knows what's gonna happen? Oh, well. When did you fly in, last night or today?
Yeah, I mean, it's like even 5 minutes ago, I would have said that's overreaction.
Oh, right.
It depends. The education is like,
we actually
so far, I mean, the STEM education. Oh, yeah. Most of the degrees and research is like, not being funded anymore, but it's for now still is there are still things to do. It's a we're still here.
He had to reposition himself
Yeah, no one really knows what to do about this. It's they're just not. The government
we're all here and
we keep a big garden where we are now. We have those refining. Yeah, so it's about 1 acre. You know, more, a lot of lawn, and we have quite a big.
do you want to sit down? I think we're,
So
I know, it's like.
you guys the stars?
Is it like
Yeah, these are always hard times to organize.
Yeah, I mean, we had to advertise.
Control. Oh, yeah. Well, you could always throw up I'm doing tech at church. So I've been involved in one funerals in the last 5 years. And online ones. It is intriguing. I've been slowly raising those funerals, you know. It's just like you know, that exists as like a word doctor. Yeah, something, yeah. Beside the livers, maybe download. So, and then some places like Urban Good has a camera. So if you were the point, the camera's here. It's kind of like, oh, so far out of.
Oh, we have some more people there. Ashok, yes. Inez. There we go. Everybody's looking good. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna maybe get you a different location for a bit.
Could you screen share the slideshow?
You know,
Don't have a slideshow.
so I could put it in front of the slideshow. Oh, you think that would happen?
And it was, my dad was basically her caregiver, so it really took a lot of his time and energy. So, it's now kind of made some space for us to have more of a relationship with our dad.
We usually sell like between, you know,
It's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Kenneth,
Yeah, I just moved it there first. Move it around.
I broadcast the slideshow, but you know, Ron, there the slides going in the music, but I think,
Yeah.
So,
Good to see you. Hi.
Yeah.
Specific answer to that right now. Eventually,
Oh, that's also.
but there'll be other periods where you're facing that one.
yeah, you know, so, yeah, so they go right there.
Prior to that.
And we'll look at you this, then, yeah.
You've probably seen, but there are a bunch of really,
Done, and then we
you
have
know, funny pictures, like that's Christina right there. There's probably some funny pictures of Michelle. That's your mom. Yeah, it's hard to see. I mean, we've got that right there. That doesn't go down. It's just like, it's just Velcro up there.
That's right. If we had been here, like, shots.
Well, we could have maybe brought in TV, you know, and again, they don't really do events here
Yeah,
hardly
no,
at
this
all.
place is not really.
So this place is not, you know, it used to be all tile.
Like the events here, but it used to be more of a restaurant and regular thing.
Well, I asked them about it, and they just said like budget cuts across the university. The University of Waterloo's got more apartments, more buildings.
What do undergrads do?
And especially, this used to be a place with fabulous.
Oh, okay.
and entertain people, like you'd have a speaker, you'd come to something
Yeah,
here.
over to
So I'm
like
kind of surprised that they have decided that it's not. I mean, it's probably COVID, they're probably. Yeah. Yeah, he used to have all the faculty.
Yes, I know there are lots of buildings.
Yeah.
So now we're going
It's not.
Well, I'm doing a tour of Waterloo Engineering with Priya.
You're right, university, like when it was the faculty.
Just
club,
make
it's
sure
more
that
like
Waterloo
faculty,
doesn't-
we have a faculty or youth club in Acadia, and it is a place for professionals. And that's really nice, you know, well, I mean, you can and so when we were, it sounded like it was touch and go, but.
I mean, I know.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know, all I know is that we never so hard. And, you know, it was a lot of people, we had a lot of food, speeches. So anyway, I mean, it is familiar. It is what people want, so.
So really between here, Toronto.
It's a shadow, I guess, a shadow.
But they book it for Queens.
And still public for that.
But it's not
I
a
don't know.
Queens were taking like
Yeah,
it was
it
too
used to
remote.
be,
They
like,
like
I remember when we events,
Yeah.
you know, there was like a chef here, he came in, with the chef, planned out the whole thing.
Vancouver maybe?
It was a different time.
But I cannot recall see.
Anyway, things change.
Yeah, CS is okay.
That's a lot.
At UBC, I don't know, but
Like,
engineering.
I don't even know, yeah, extreme service.
Depends which one.
Yeah.
They have a real specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Universities is better than others.
Yeah.
But you see for at least education.
Yeah, we had his celebration like here, we had,
How's the work?
you know, it was many more people, we had like dance performances,
Really nice.
music.
We had,
Yeah, Indian dance.
Yeah.
It was more,
Dude.
but I mean, there were more drive from the monks that was live and friends.
Yeah.
Whereas this one of the.
That was 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I felt
Yeah,
like
so
that.
we
was
arrived in
super very
2014, and then Dad passed.
So
I think the day before my birthday, May 29th. And then we had the celebration. like,
Yeah, they kind
summer,
of got ahead
and
of
then
the
we,
curve with it.
oh,
Yeah,
They kind
yeah.
of organized that
Yeah.
specifically.
So,
Some kind of leave.
Yeah.
Which one? You would have been, but you would have been. Yeah.
It's very good. So
That's
when I
celebration of
when I
life
went to
2015.
Berkeley for
Yeah, you would.
PhD in math,
You were there, you were waiting.
the in the US, like there were all these Harvard students because Berkeley was the only place in the world that wasn't a step down from Harvard, right? Everywhere else it was, and they, they had seen
Wait, can you say?
homology 5 times before, and I'd never seen, right, but I did have this solid foundation.
Well, I think Bum's 19th birthday was that.
But now I see giant like and they did make the first two full generality. I never assumed that a vector space is finite dimensional, so it's quite impressive. But of course they talk about
But as you get older, those birthday parties,
yeah, maybe they have those,
Yeah.
impressed my
I think that's
birthday.
pretty doable.
I love it.
Many years.
Wainwright, John Wainwright. His son Martin Wainwright is now a big deal in anyway, he taught like truth-based calculus out of Michael Stevens. You know, like it's just a beautiful course. So I'm
I can see how you're supposed to be partners.
Yeah, I know. You see that? Calculus is so beautiful.
math power. Okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom.
Yeah, we haven't seen her this already. Just because we're coming out east, we were like, oh, maybe we should look some university tours just to kind of take advantage of the fact that we're coming out here. Just to kind of show them that, and of course, both of us did our degrees.
Okay,
Vienna is such a great city, right? But then we didn't check out the Vancouver Film School because Padma's interested in animation and some different things, like a certificate program, it's a 1-year program. It's quite expensive, like $20,000. So, so then we'll go to UBC, we'll check out the University of Victoria. Montreal will be more expensive. Not international students, but out of Canada. But and when we were doing our orientation, they said that if you actually do a gap year and live in Quebec for a year, you can claim to be a Quebec citizen. Yeah, the Quebec address. So I was like, hey, I can do a gap year in Montreal. So we'll see what I do. We all can use a gap year, but yeah. And then I think it's also have really good marks to get a discount and get apply for merit-based awards, and there's like Canada award that is like a discount on that. We still want the smartest kids, right? So so there's ways, but it's still. I mean, yeah. So it's kind of like all that.
Checking with the artist.
It's like a live chat.
We missed the version. Because we're up in Paraguay and the second language is high in Paraguay. And then in Pemberley, they had this French immersion, like late entry in grade 5.
All right. So now our first performance.
So, yeah, that's my great regret.
Are,
We might still be able to.
oh, very good. All right.
Yeah.
Tom Unger. That's
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I have ever.
We did a wedding about 15, 20 years ago or so now. Yes. It's been a long time. The kids' table.
The kids' table. That's all the cousins. Yeah. Really good.
I'm glad that the 401 doesn't show on my face. So
He was in the Canary Islands.
That's his connections.
All right, everybody. Well, there's going to be plenty more time to chat with each other, but we're going to get our program moving here. So we have our artist performers today, and it is Jun Tsai and Zhi Sheng Li performing Ave Maria to get started. Please begin. Okay, so I think we're gonna, you guys are done now, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna move on with some speeches, and let me just see, I was hoping we would do it toast. Let me just make sure that's in the back.
What's that?
Maybe it's toast.
Oh.
There's toast.
The, around the corner is the bar. Did you get it? There's an open bar around the corner. People should get a drink. On the live stream saying, drinks now.
So we're trying to set up for toast, and then we will do some. Yeah, it is burning through some of its power, and I kind of. Well, that's the plug, but yeah, I need to plug it in somewhere. Let me you can turn this off for now. Yeah, we want to be able to do some toast.
So we can definitely pour it.
Yeah.
However, we do want the table to, we don't lose the monitor.
Yeah.
But if we want everyone to have glass of wine, we can do that for sure.
Yeah, if you could somehow make that happen, whatever.
Okay, how many?
Tom Walker, he is.
I mean, I think just the grown-ups, so, yeah. Yeah.
He was, they live in Oakville and.
I mean, maybe, yeah, just start with 1 or 2 bottles.
The 12 of you though?
Yeah, sure.
Stayed overnight with
Okay.
him one night.
Okay.
It's like kind of like these people are. Yeah, because we're not coming out to water so much, but.
I'm gonna get a speech and then I know the toast.
Yeah, next door.
We've at least,
Yeah.
got some, got a to-do list I'm working on.
Yeah, they were at the wedding, and they was one of my dad's graduate students in physics many years ago. Yeah, there's a PhD student. Well,
I would like to plug this in somehow, but,
When he first met me, I was a little kid.
When I remember.
all right, so we've got, yes, Christine there, very good.
I know, it's like.
Nice.
Professor?
No,
Yeah, they're gonna bring us some wine.
The Chipotle.
I think I
South-
don't think it's
southeast.
champagne.
I
Go ask.
Right
I
where
can
the
see
old
it.
hospital
I
was.
can see it.
You know that area? Like, just like No, it's it is far, yeah.
But, yeah, they're good kids. Well done.
It's especially because you have residential areas to get there. So it's fast to the highways, but then it's a bit of a
Kids table, okay, good.
So, like, she wants to do something with the
It had, Oakville had outgrown the small hospitals that are down there, but it's not. So being turned into a subdivision. That's what Austin saying. And they put in
Oh, hey.
Our company was terrible.
Oh, yes.
And I couldn't find the place.
Yeah, and it's tricky.
Yeah, he got it.
You see, yeah, one.
There's something that we need to do.
Steakhouse was lovely.
Well, you know, we were driving and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Because I couldn't see.
so is that what about?
I'm not sure, but I know, I was concerned, but
It's like if that's done, you go like that. It's.
Yeah, like I was red, maybe you red, and I'll take a red.
Mary and Hamilton at the armories down
Yeah, the first time, people that had gotten tickets, but the first time they don't actually sign. They give you a warning. They put a thing on there. And then the second time, so like you got a second time for $40 tickets.
Oh, yeah.
I used to be at $8. I know.
We're going to go.
They make it kind of hard, like, you know.
The train, go train. Yeah, the big go train.
That's what I was saying.
Especially bigger construction.
You know, one of the big things I wanted to make sure I had was like that. Right, then maybe just ask any other grown up who wants.
Yeah.
You ask around, okay.
At 6 a.m. And I sat on the way at 6 a.m. The absolute inspiration.
Okay.
Just on the way out here. I sat between
Oh, actually.
Pearl Road and Wolf. It took me like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then once I got up to 401, same thing, gridlock. Slowed me down another 25 minutes. When I left the house, my arrival time should have been 2 o'clock. I got here at 5 to 3. This area was just it may stay that way.
Yes, he just got here, he got lost. No, this is Jack. He's his friend from high school and from engineering. And then Jeff helped a lot with mom. Like, he would always go and fix things at her house, and then in the place, and she had her house, he would go and help her, and then when she was in the Clare Hills, he'd go and, you know, sort of wasn't working, or like he would go and detect him. He was our go-to. He was our surrogate brother, yeah, he was our brother. It used to be a restaurant, and it's just like this fancy restaurant that people would come to on campus and like professors. Yeah, the faculty club, yeah. And then mom used to organize events here if she wanted to put on anything. She would, like when she had her some birthday party 20 plus years ago, she did here. And have this event. So it's kind of like she liked using this event. She liked using this venue, but it's sort of shut down.
Okay.
They rented for events. Yeah, I think like it used to be. So back in the day, when they were at the height of their careers, Christmas events, you always say kind of reserve or have things party or dinner.
I'm sure COVID probably didn't help.
Yeah.
Even places like this.
Go for it, I just wanted to check.
Maybe it's not what you do.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is the time when we're going to give some speeches and make a toast. So if anyone wants a glass of wine, please put up who doesn't have one and who's of age to drink. Then put up your hand now and we'll make sure we get you a glass. There's also plenty of non-alcoholic drinks. Yeah. Okay, very good. So let me just say that, my wife Shannon and I and our 2 boys, Journey and Phoenix, we drove from Nova Scotia to be here today. So it's been a a big long trek with 2 nights in Quebec City and then 3 nights in Montreal and then a stop in Toronto. So it has been a whole big voyage to get here. Yes, and I'm so glad to be here with my sisters and the cousins, and it was a big hope of mine to have a moment where the cousins could really spend some time together, and that's happening, so I'm really grateful for that. All right, well, as you may have remarked, when you arrived, I was busy working on my speech. Now, I assure you this is not typical for me at all, and this never happens. Usually I'm quite prepared. All right, so let me start by thanking all of you for coming today for my mother's celebration of life. And of course, I want to thank all the friends and family who have tuned into the live stream or the recorded version of today's proceedings. Mom, as you know, comes from a large extended family, and there are family members tuning in from South Africa, the USA, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Mom really was a citizen of the world, and it shows. So Mom passed on October 24th, 2024, after an 8-day death process. And I'm so grateful that I was there with my sisters and that we were all able to be around her and support her through this final transition. Mom lived a full and rich life full of scholarly pursuits, world travel, a loving marriage, and an involved family life. And today we are gathered to really celebrate her remarkable life of love and achievement. So as many of you know, Mom has a pretty incredible story of being born under the most challenging of circumstances and overcoming numerous obstacles to really create a unique life, the life that she wanted. As many of you know, Mom was famously born on a leap day in rural South Africa in the family home. And at the time, my grandmother Chrissy was sick with malaria. And so the pregnancy ended early. Mom was born 3 months premature at like 1 pound, I think 16 ounces. We have maybe different numbers, but there we go. She was like a tiny little creature, and actually when she was born, the doctor said, throw that thing in the rubbish bin, right? But that didn't happen. Instead, Mom was taken by her grandmother named Josephine and kept in a shoebox wrapped in cotton wool, fed Nestle's milk with a sterilized eyedropper, and rubbed down every day with olive oil. And it was her grandmother's love that really, sustained her and helped her survive those very early days of life. So really, an incredible story. And sometimes I would tease my mom about the story, oh, Mama will, put you back in the little shoebox kind of thing. I also mentioned that Grandma Chrissy actually lost all her teeth during that pregnancy. So, and then went on to have 9 other children. Yeah. Anyways, the rest, as they say, is history. So as many of you know, Mom grew up under apartheid rule in South Africa. This was a racist system that really allotted rights based on the color of your skin. And as an Indian, she wasn't allowed to use a public library. She wasn't allowed to swim in a public swimming pool. So in spite of these obstacles, she went on to get a degree from Witwatersrand University in Johannesburg. And even while she was there, she wasn't allowed to use the bathrooms on campus, but she still found a way to excel. And then later after graduation, she took a job in Lesotho at Pope Pius XII College, teaching African students there. Now this was a very remote place, and it was, again, my mom had an adventurous spirit, and she was not afraid to take these like giant leaps into the unknown. She was here in this remote place in this other African country, and she was the only Indian there and one of the few women instructors there. This was a very formative experience for her. I've got a number of pictures from that time in Lesotho. And it was a chance to put into practice her commitment to education and empowerment through education. You know, while she was teaching there at Pope Pius XII, she realized she wanted more support, academic support, and so she applied to be part of the South African Psychological Association. And so she applied, and then she was rejected because, well, she was rejected. So she went to Johannesburg to meet with the president of the organization to find out why, which again is very bold of her. So she met with him, and he was basically like, you know, she was would be the only non-white member. And he said, if we let you join, the whole organization is going to split up. And in fact, the whole organization did split up. And then years and years later, Mom received an award from that organization for her pioneering efforts. Yeah. All right. So, you know, Mom was always an excellent student, and she would always compete with the boys for the top grade. And this academic excellence led her to win this big American scholarship, which allowed her to leave South Africa and go to the USA to study at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. And it's there, and she there studied with Dr. Harry Triandis, who is a pioneer in cross-cultural psychology. He developed, you know, the academic ideas of individualism versus collectivism. And she studied with him and studied cross-cultural psychology, really with the goal of helping overcome and solve racism. So that hasn't really been solved yet. I don't know if you've noticed, but just know that there are many committed people working on this to this day to help communities overcome racism and have better understanding. So it was at the University of Illinois that she famously met my dad in a cafeteria lineup. They were each wearing their respective school blazers, Mom from University of Witwatersrand and Dad from University of Toronto. And I guess the Americans didn't wear school blazers. So this was how my dad first, you know, met my mom, and this eventually, you know, evolved into love and marriage. And my dad actually already had a job lined up here at the University of Waterloo in the physics department. So Mom moved up to Canada with him, and then later got a job as a professor of psychology at Wilfrid Laurier, where she worked for many years, achieving the rank of full professor. So I'll just say, mothers and sons have a special bond, and you know, Mom and I are no exception. I was her firstborn after 2 miscarriages, and she would occasionally remind me how she had to lie on her back on a saltless, sugarless diet for 3 months to make sure that I was born intact. So Mom had to work hard to make sure that I came into this world. Christina was born a year later with absolutely no problems whatsoever. So that gives you a little hint about our family. And then 3 years later, Michele was born while Mom and Dad were on sabbatical in France. All right. So, you know, I had the pleasure to spend a lot of time with my mom as an adult. And in particular, I accompanied her to many IACCP meetings. This is the International Association of Cross-Cultural Psychology. So we traveled together to places like Germany, France, China, and South Africa. And Mom really loved these meetings. It really brought together this incredible group of international scholars who were committed in an idealistic way to creating peace and understanding between different cultural groups across the globe. So again, I'll say it again, Mom was a citizen of the world. She really lived that in her life, and again, sought through her research, her scholarship, and her teaching to promote understanding and cross-cultural understanding, and not only between people across, the globe, but also here in Canada with respect also to Indigenous issues, First Nations people, and also the Inuit. So there's so much more I could say about her incredible life. Mom raised us as Catholics, And really, for me, Catholicism, the central lesson I learned was the importance of love, and that in the end, love is the only thing that's real. So my dear Mama was a powerful personality who reached courageously for her dreams, who lived her ideals to create a better world. She would always encourage us to reach for the stars. There's so much more that I could say, but I'll stop there and let us all make a toast to my mother, a dreamer and an achiever, to Dr. Josephine Naidoo.
Cheers.
All right, as you can see, I brought the ukulele up here, so I'm in the company of amazing musicians today and greatness, and I'm gonna just play a little song from Leonard Cohen. You know, my dad was a great Leonard Cohen fan, and my mom loved music, and she would be so delighted to hear the classical music that was played today. So I'll just play a little. They say there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor falls, major lifts. Baffled king composing hallelujah. Sing with me, hallelujah. 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 Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne, cut your hair. From your lips she drew hallelujah. Hallelujah. Sing it with me, people. Hallelujah. 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 There was a time I used to know what's really going on below, but now you never show that to me, do ya? I've seen your flag on the marble arch, but love is not a victory march. It's a cold and broken hallelujah. Hallelujah. Sing it with me. Come on, people. Hallelujah. 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 Now I'm like, what's that? Oh yeah. Well, believe me, I've been here before. I've seen these walls, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I grew. Somehow it all went wrong, and got to say is hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come on, kids table. Hallelujah. 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 Thanks, guys. Okay, well, let me now invite my sisters up to follow that.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming, and thank you also to all our family and friends who are watching online or will be watching the recording. I wrote my remarks while sitting at the Guardia for 3 hours waiting for a delayed flight yesterday. What to say about our indomitable mother who had such a profound influence on our values and our way of being in the world. I want to make more personal comments, not about her political philosophy or her worldview, which also influenced us deeply growing up, but more how she modeled for us how to live a life of purpose. I feel it's only now that I'm in my mid-50s that I understand how the choices I made in my own life are connected to her example. So as Ken mentioned, our mother led an enterprising life growing up in South Africa under apartheid, the daughter of educators and the eldest of 10 children. She attended the all-white University of Witwatersrand, where she was barred from living on campus or using any facilities. When she obtained her degree, she sought a teaching position at her own high school, the Indian Girls High School in Durban, that she had attended. But the teachers were all white, and they told her, no, we can't hire an Indian teacher. We would need to build a new bathroom. So instead, she went off to Roma in what was then Basutoland, a tiny landlocked country in Southern Africa, where she taught African students at a school run by French-Canadian Oblate fathers. And the school would later become the National University of Lesotho. From there, she applied for and won a graduate fellowship to do her doctoral studies at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana in the United States, where she met her father, Jim Wesley. It must be said that Mom strongly believed in marriage, and for better or worse, we were all inculcated in this with this belief. When she married our father in 1964, she was all in. She followed him to Canada, where he had a faculty position at the newly founded University of Waterloo, even though famously the campus was just tracks of mud at the time. Accustomed to the bright daylight of subtropical Durban, our mom found Waterloo's skies dim and gray, and she would ask our father, does the sun ever rise in this country? But she embraced Canada, and she embraced her life here, and she was always grateful for her academic career and her family life. And indeed, that was certainly one of the key aspects of her way of being. She was always grateful for the opportunities she had for her family, for her health, for her material comforts. Even in her last years at Clare Hills, when she was not in great health, she would repeatedly tell us that she was thankful for her comfortable suite, for all the beautiful objects and paintings around her that she had collected from around the world, and that she had everything that she needed. Another key part of her way of living was her strong work ethic. She would work late into the night, drafting her research articles in longhand, in pencil, in her study. She told me once that she would try to work at night until she just felt so tired that she couldn't go on, and then she would put in another hour. Working late at night was a habit from her childhood. She would wake up at odd hours and study in the bathroom to get some quiet in this house full of children. And when I think back to that, those years of working late at night, of course she had to work late. She had 3 children and a heavy teaching load, so she needed to work into the night to do her own intellectual work. When I was in the midst myself of doing it all, of raising a child while pursuing a demanding career, it occurred to me that my mother had done it all before, but with more children and fewer after-school programs. Sometimes when I rushed home to cook, I would have a flashback to my mother in the kitchen pounding ginger and garlic with a hammer on a square of tinfoil to make Indian food. And how did she find the energy to do the pounding at the end of a workday? However overwhelming things might have been for me, at least I wasn't pounding ginger and garlic with a hammer. Mom believed in entertaining and in cooking well and in creating beauty in the home. It was not enough just to make an effort. The outcome also mattered. She had to meet her high standards. Some of the rituals of our childhood might seem over the top to outsiders. I once remember for Canadian Thanksgiving being tasked with polishing vegetables like squashes with vegetable oil to make them shiny for an autumn cornucopia for a centerpiece. Yes. But this was teaching us to bring beauty and care and intention to family life and social gatherings. Most of all, Mom had an unfailing moral compass. She would always do the right thing, whether it was helping her far-flung family or caring for our father through his battle with Parkinson's disease. She had empathy for others, even for those who weren't close to her or who might not reciprocate in their feelings of empathy. She had no need for affirmation or acknowledgement for her good acts. It was all internal. She set an inspiring example for all her children, and we admire and celebrate her today and always. Thank you.
And when you finish, can you do a toast as well?
Okay. Yeah, and I don't have the urn like my tribute. I'm Michele Leslie. I'm the youngest child. I don't have formal comments. My tribute to my mom is the ceramic urn that I threw to hold her ashes, her remains, and we're going to inter those ashes tomorrow next to my dad, for whom I also made an urn, and sort of lay her in her final resting place. But working on that urn was kind of a wonderful goal to kind of strive towards, because it is quite a lot of clay. You have to kind of bring up a tall form, and I've been working on it for several months because it all takes time, and there's so much attrition in pottery where things can go sideways. I had made a bunch of forms from like 6-pound clay, and then it was when you fire things, it shrinks about 15%. So when it came out of the glaze firing, it was actually looked kind of small, and I tried to test the amount of volume, and it was like didn't seem like it was going to be enough volume, so I had to go back to the wheel and throw a bigger form. And so it's all been actually a wonderful process of trying to, as you say, reach for the stars, reach and like evolve and grow as a ceramic artist. And so the urn is around the corner, so we can show that to the people that are on watching the live stream. When we opened the kiln, or actually a few days before we flew out east, my gut just dropped because it was just like, it's now or never. Either it's going to have worked out or not. But we did get a number of urns that worked out. And so we brought one today and we've got her remains there. We have picked up her ashes already. When I was reflecting on my mom's legacy, it is all living on in us, in the 3 kids and the grandchildren. I feel like really what she gifted to me was this passion for social justice and, a hard work ethic, but always like a sense of purpose to make the world a better place and to, I just get a lot, I'm a family doctor, but I get my most joy out of connecting people that are the most disenfranchised, the people that are the most kind of shut out of the system, to connect them to services is kind of what makes me tick. And I've realized that is something that I've inherited from my mother, because she believed deeply and she passed on this fundamental belief that all people are created equal, that all men are brothers, as Gandhi said, and that she believed that the future is multicultural, nonviolent, and that all life, every life matters. And so she's passed that on to us, and I feel like it's such a gift, because in my work, I feel like sometimes I'll meet people that are just lost, like they don't have that purpose. They don't have a sense of what should they do with their lives, and how should they contribute, and what will their legacy be? And I feel like I at least know what I'm working on and what I'm striving for. I feel like it's such a gift. And so, so thank you, Mom. I'll just set a toast that you have given us the most wonderful gift, which is a feeling of how to contribute and what matters. So let me say a toast to Mom. Thanks for letting me know what matters in life. To Mom.
To Josie. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers. So you were going to say too, like what comes next and stuff too, right?
Yeah, so we now have another performance from our musicians, and then we also have my dear brother-in-law Vijay Iyer here, who's going to perform for us. And then there will be an opportunity. I did grab a microphone. We haven't been using it, but it's there. If anyone has some memories of Josephine that they want to share, there will be a chance for you to come up and say a few words if you care to do so. Yes, and then of course we'll then have some final music, and we end at 5. Yeah. Okay. Here, let me move this a little closer. And probably I got to plug this in is what needs to happen. Let me just see if I can figure out. Is there a plug anywhere? Right there. Okay. There's one there? Okay, let me try that. Yeah, maybe we'll just put it on the chair. Hey. Thank you. All right. Sure. Please begin when you're ready.
interview Vijay as he performs. Oop. Oh, that can totally happen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vijay. I'm Christina's husband. Really glad to be here. I barely got here. I was in Ireland this morning and the Canary Islands yesterday, so there's I somehow made it just under the wire here. But I'm really delighted that I get to be a part of this. I've known Josephine Naidoo since 1997. I'll never forget that first holiday visit after Christina and I first started dating, and I think actually by this time, by the holidays that year, we already knew we wanted to get married. And I remember Josephine commenting later, "He's a bit of a dreamer, isn't he?" Which I also somehow I'm thinking of when Patrick, the sculptor, married Michele, and Jim Leslie said something to the effect of, "Oh no, not again." Anyway, just trying to bring some levity. Anyway, but what I wanted to say is that actually, as has been stated already, music was a big part of Josephine's life. As many of you know, her mother was a music teacher and her aunts were musicians, and there was a lot of music in the household, which she was very accustomed to, even though she herself didn't have musical training as a child. I can't remember when it started, but it was around, I feel like it was around the time that I met her that she started taking piano lessons, meaning not so long ago, like 25 or so years ago. And she used to kind of tell us about it, like how much she's enjoying it and what she's working on. And I also remember that every time I would visit, which was every holiday season, I'd spend time at her piano and she would sit with me while I was playing. And not really have comments, but just sort of like, she just seemed to feel very at home with music in the room. And one of my vivid memories about this also is that when she came and visited us, and many of you guys were there, this was 2018, yes, when you all came. And she was staying, you were all staying in the house. And she asked, as she often did, "Vijay, why don't we hear some of your music on the stereo?" So I said, okay. I usually just assumed that it would be kind of like fade into the background. So I put on, I'm fortunate to have my music on LPs. So I put on an LP, one of the LPs of my music. And of course, the side of an LP is done after about 20 minutes. And as soon as it ended, like the second it ended, she said, "It's finished." She meaning like she wanted to hear more. And I realized she was actually engaging and paying attention, and it mattered to her. Music mattered to her in a way that's hard to talk about, but thankfully music speaks for itself. I thought I'd just play a few short themes that I'll kind of squeeze into a medley. And they all have to do with thresholds of life. One is a short theme I wrote for my father after he passed away a few years ago. Yes, after he passed away in 2021. Another is a piece that one of my favorite composers, Billy Strayhorn, wrote in the final weeks of his life. And the last is a piece that I wrote for the poet Wilfrid Laurier called Kite. So I'll just, I'll keep it brief, but thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks so much for that, Jay. Yes, turn that around. So we do have time for if anyone wants to say a few words about Josephine. Now's the time. Yeah. Oh, wait, we have the letter.
I don't think I need a microphone.
Okay.
So, I would be amiss if I did not mention some personal experiences with Josie that we've had over the years, and I'm sorry if I become emotional while I'm talking about Josie, but she did mean a lot to us. Nick was Jim's PhD student, and so I met Josie and Jim right away when Nick got together. It was one of the first people that Nick wanted me to meet, both Josie and Jim, and then we became sort of members of their family, and they became members of our family. So throughout the years, we kept very close contact with Jim and Josie, and even after Jim passed away, we would call Josie on a regular basis and find out about how everybody was doing, and then we would find out through Michele, and then we, of course, the age of Facebook. So on Facebook with both Michele and Ken, so we learn a lot about each other. But I had some personal experiences with Josie, and throughout the years, just a few things that I'm going to reminisce about. When we were getting married, Josie called me to find out what we wanted for a wedding gift. Now, we did sort of an unusual wedding. We did not register, for gifts or anything like that. We didn't really want anything. People told people anything under $10. So,
It was not money.
Said, what do you want for your wedding? I said, well, maybe a spice rack. She said, only? I said, yeah, we need a spice rack. So it would be nice to have a spice rack, thank you. When she came to the wedding, she brought us a silver, serving plate. And I said, Josie, my goodness. She says, well, I wasn't just going to bring the spice. Come on. Anyway, so then Josie and Jim went to Durban, South Africa for 2 or 3 months, I believe, over the summer, and they left us their house to house it. So they took us around the house to show us all the different rooms and all the, take care of patches. So at some point after we looked at all the rooms, basement, upstairs, etc., Josie took me to this cupboard and she said, and let me show you some beautiful things that you can use when you have a party. So she opens, the cupboard, and there is this beautiful, colorful napkins and serving plates and just decorative items. And I was taken aback and I said, but Josie, we won't be having any parties while we are house sitting for. She says, well, feel free to have whatever you like. So we were, they were always very generous with us, both Jim and Josie. And then some other things about Josie too, she liked to task me with things. So one of the things she tasked me with early on, when we still lived in Waterloo, there was a South African priest that actually came from Durban. And Josie wanted me to show him around. So I didn't know Waterloo very well myself. I was new there, but I thought a good place to show him would be the market. So were you with me, or was I just by myself? So I took him to the St. Jacob's market, and we had a wonderful time together. And then I, delivered him back to Josie, and he was thankful for the experience. And then Josie later on called me to talk about that as well. Then other thing she used to like to task me with, whenever we went for dinner over to their house, Josie would always give me a task that I needed to do, decorate the table. I wasn't really polishing pumpkins, but it was similar. It's like put the centerpiece and make sure you put, flower with every napkin, And then, Michele, you took part of that because when you were over at our house once and we were putting things together, I had placed the plate with the flower in a certain way, and Michele turned it around and she said, Mom likes to have the flower facing the person. So I thought that was also, that was very nice. But an enduring memory, actually, that I have of Josie is a much later one. 3 years ago, was it your mom's 90th birthday? You came with Kenneth, you rented an Airbnb house somewhere in Kitchener-Waterloo, and we were there celebrating your mother at the time, your birthday. And Josie by then, even though she was a very talkative person, otherwise, that particular time she was very quiet. Mm-hmm. So that's when I saw a change in Josie. She was just sitting there smiling and being very quiet. And at times I felt kind of deeply, I almost cried, but I held myself back to be there to celebrate, your grandmother. And she was observing though quietly, she was observing. And when she saw our warm interaction with Michele and with Kenneth, at some point she looked at me and she said, keep in touch. I want you to keep in touch. Meaning, when I'm not here, I want you to keep in touch. And I felt it deeply. As I said, I was emotional at that moment. I tried to make a joke. I said, yeah, we will. We are on Facebook together. Thank God for Facebook, right? We never know each other. So yeah, we both, Nick and I, hold your mom in our heart very, very deeply. And we loved your mom. And we love you guys.
They had a special connection too, because Helen is a psychologist. So your mom being a psychologist, they felt it.
That's why she could ask me.
Junior psychologist.
So here is to Josie.
Yeah.
We love Josie. Cheers to Josie.
And some of your friends wrote a couple comments, so I don't know, do you want to read it? Or Ray wrote and Stan did.
Why don't you read those ones, and I think that's
Okay.
the other one.
Okay, this is Ray Yan, who's a high school friend of Ken's, and we all know Ray. Dear Ken, hope you and your family are finding peace during this difficult time. Unfortunately, I will only be able to attend virtually today. You, Christina, and Michele are living testaments for how amazing your mom is. I will always remember your mom as being outspoken and honest. Someone that never held back, would always speak her mind. She is one of the most genuine souls that has crossed my path in our shared journeys. Find comfort, my friend, knowing that she's made an impact in all of our lives, and celebrate a life lived well. All my best, Ray. And then Stan Wu, he's the head of optometry in Waterloo, and he was our high school friend as well. Thanks so much for the invitation and Zoom link, Ken. Apologies that we can't be there in person to help commemorate your amazing mom. We're off on a family vacation. I do have fond memories of sleepovers and get-togethers. It was great to learn more about her passions and accomplishments aside from being a mom too. Wishing you the best. During a difficult time, you're but heartened by the fact that she had an impressive legacy. All the best to Christina and Michele and the family's warm regards, Stan.
Okay, and then I guess I've got two more here. One is from Betsy Hudgens. Oh, thank you so much. I would love to be able to watch the link later as I am unable to attend in person. With love and appreciation of your family's welcoming spirit to me during the time I got to be part of your life and family. This weekend will be a lovely tribute to your mother, Betsy. And then also, my Auntie May made a donation to the funeral home and just had a short message. My thoughts and prayers are with you today. I love Auntie May. So.
Any other, anyone else want to say something at this point? No, really, okay.
So I'm a white stranger in a brown crowd, just so you know. And I know where I'm going. She says, get up there. So it's my duty to acknowledge your mom-in-law. She sat me down, like right now. She was married to a white guy, okay? So we had immediate conversations, all right? Because I got a brown girl over there.
Yeah.
And so I
He's married to my cousin. That's the context.
Yeah. Thank you. I need help. I don't, context is not my purview. So we sat down.
She was my advisor, and Josephine's advisor was the same. So we have the same legacy. So it was kind of really coincidental when I met you, Christina, and I was like, oh, you know Harry Triantis? I was his student, and that's how we really connected.
Mom was Harry Triantis' first student. So.
Yeah,
Oh.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I might have been one of his last.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of got sidetracked on that. But I will tell you this. This woman comes into the room like, I'm in control. What do you think? And then, I'm sorry, poor white guy. He's there. He's not doing so well. He's getting old. But the respect and love between those two. And I'm like, that's us. I'm in the old chair. Two words. Elegance, intelligence.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that might be.
Okay, very good. Well, then we have the hall until 5. We have two more or some last pieces from our musicians. So maybe we'll have them play and then we can just, mingle a little bit at the end and close our program. Yeah.
With another hand for Jumsai and Julian. Concert tomorrow evening, not far from here, right? So.
Yeah, it's at University of Laurier, Wilfrid Laurier, Keffer Memorial Chapel.
At 7 o'clock.
Yes, thank you.
So we were able to piggyback on that event and bring them in for this. So we're very fortunate.
I saw that on Instagram, by the way. It was crazy good. Crazy good.
Yeah, so it's part of the KW Chamber Music Society.
Thank you to our performers, guys. All right, so we have the hall for another half hour, so I guess I'm gonna end the formal part of our presentation today and invite you to get a little more food and have a chance to mingle, and then we'll just wrap it up at 5 o'clock. All right, thanks everyone for coming. All right, bye. All right, let me just, and I want to show the urn here. Let me just show this. So there's the urn. Yeah.
Here. Because I've already got the ashes in it. And yeah, this is the urn.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Maybe I'll just
It's like,
place this somewhere.
Good presentation.
Oh, thank you.
You look familiar. So I had to go back and make it bigger.
Oh, celebration. Yeah. So I was going to see where you're. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I was in economics. Oh, where I got to read it, really, or interaction.
Yeah, they can't really see.
Retirees Association. Oh, yes. She'd been president, and then I became president. And we were concerned about, getting people to meetings. So Josie said, we should phone them. There's only 400 members. But if I said, yeah, let's do it, she would have gone ahead.
Yeah. Sure.
Really keen, really, full speed ahead. Excellent effort.
Yeah.
No, I really, I didn't have all of us, basic psychology.
Yeah.
I don't have, we're in different buildings, see, but, didn't have too much to do with sale and things like that. Yeah, so I got to know about it. Because she and your father were really good supporters.
Yeah.
Even when your dad wasn't all that well, he was at the meetings.
Yeah. I remember that.
She would bring him?
Yeah. I remember we lived with her. We lived with her for a year. like 2014 to 2015, and this is when the kids were young. We just moved back from BC, and so I would occasionally like drive her to like one of the meetings.
Oh, yeah. 2014, 2017, yeah. Well, I joined when I was 10, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she'd been president just before that.
Yeah.
And, so, set a very high
Set the high bar. Yeah, that was the way she was.
For everybody. Yeah. But this is very, I knew, quite a bit about her life, but not everything.
Not all, yeah.
So, yeah, it's good to get what you do with your sisters.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? I'm Frank Miller, first Laurier. I was with, I wasn't Laurier.
Hey,
yeah.
Oh, good to see you, buddy.
So, you're now.
I remember you well from,
My family is in New York, and I'm at Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Wow, and have you found your
Cancer research.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'll call it with Bernie.
Yeah, I think, I was just thinking your brother, I was here, but for some reason for your dad. So I was here for that. So it's okay living as a Canadian in the United States?
She's real powerful personality, but you must have
I
been like
have my Canadian passport, which means my cat, but
Oh, okay.
which is good because when I was crazy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Crazy times.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, probably be eligible for research grants.
It's more just that there's kind of a tax on permanent residents, right? Like
Yeah. Oh, I met a kid at university, and my wife, Shannon, from this company. One of my PAs when I was
somebody who seems to yeah, no, it's good to have Americans. You get that after you move to the States? Oh, okay. So is your husband American or? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So, you're right downtown, is your lab and everything? Yeah. I went to, Dr. Priya, I went to Cornell University. So anyway, now write your congressman, or some of their, because I can't do anything really. But I said it was pretty support you, right? Actually, if I wrote it, might be more harm than good.
So then I basically
Then we had all this tariff business. One thing one day, something else the next day. Yeah. No, it must be very difficult to make sure that your research
matters,
is supported continuously.
We'll see what happens.
So you're MD?
I'm a PhD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm a research scientist.
Okay, it's your sister is the doctor, right? Yeah, okay.
And Vijay's also, he's also, I have a PhD in
Oh, I just take it. I got to know you. I was president of the retiree society, and she was president before that. So we were having calls and getting people over to so Josie said, "Oh, we should call them 400. Well, that's a, go right ahead. if I probably, if I said, yeah, let's get on here, let's do it, she'd probably go to God.
She's always good on the phone. She sounded Quebec. I knew it was Indian South Africa, like a Durban Indian accent, but her accent sounded British, right? So she would get the time.
Oh,
Would respond to that British accent. Good to see you.
It is like
Yeah, hey. Yeah. Until next time, I don't know if we'll be back in the area. I've never been out east, so I for a trip out east, if I ever do make it out,
More people like your mom. How long are you up here for?
Just on Monday.
I won't be able to. Looks like it's running out of steam. With our own church, we'll be out on.
Yeah, that's okay. I think it's more public event and then, yeah,
Seems like to be back on your family, you gotta be a musician.
Well, I don't know much of guitar, but we did
He's like a teacher, but I don't. Oh yeah, it's creative and adventurous. All that money spent on piano lessons was always from the adventurous spirit. And we did have a very, like I said, a good relationship. It's sort of funny. Like I remember we were in China, and I was helping my mom walk around China, and she kind of with bad legs, and probably, and the Chinese people would come and be like, "What's
still involved in the retirees club?
Yeah,
Are you still involved in the retirees club?
Yeah.
Well, it's great to see you. I
They're
was
on the
following
executive, it's hard to get out of there.
Yeah. Are you in touch with Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It's hard to find other people. That's all I have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was thinking oh, really? I mean, you said we were messages. Yeah. I felt bad because at one point I was Yeah.
If you want to take any sweets, we have lots.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice food too. Okay, thank you.
He has pharma conflicts that he's done everything's conflicted.
Have you had any of those?
And I remember and it broke my heart when he descended. But he stayed.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of time to catch up on a few. There we go. I think I'm on our legacy. Let me go say hi to Jeremy. I love your hat. I thought of, oh, one more, another one. No, I'm two connections. I'm a teaching assistant for Ken. And my wife grew up on our street, so my wife and Ken and the family know each other for many years.
And what about Priya? You wanna?
Okay. Okay, yeah. What was your specialization?
So we look at the hours to show you when you.
Yeah, but now it's so much. His sweetness was there. It wasn't.
It's always nice to, you know. Yeah. I was even my wife, Sharon, who grew up in Omaha. Reading my novel.
All about fun.
Yeah, Jeff was Sharon. So you were the assistant out in Idaho?
Yeah, I was, yeah, we. When the kids got and I mean, they need more people, but in general, it's kind of like, out there, we have to improve.
But Sharon and I learned so much.
Yeah, I have a special interest in oncology. I'm a GP in oncology. Because if we have a very small therapy service on islands, to get chemotherapy every 2 weeks. I got involved in that. So then I've got a project that I'm doing in Pemberton where I'm going to build some oncology services for patients, because everybody has to travel still to get this.
So I was faculty member with Pastor for 3 years when I got sick. There's nothing I can do about it now.
Yes.
I'm actually, I'm 53 and I'm sort of looking at to drill down to like just focus on cancer patients. And by the end of rural context, what kind of rural,
Yeah, but also, I think
people have to go in the city. Only piece of cancer but we're looking at, I'm looking at trying to pioneer, like, the big proposal has mentioned to build facilities in Hamilton but it's gonna be like,
they did some agreement with UFT for some international students.
we're hearing English about UFT and also it's all sort of piecemeal. You don't know if there's like an across the board. I'm gonna end the stream because I believe there's nothing more to see. Thank you all for joining.
Well, it's true when you know you're